The conference is now in silent mode.
The regular meeting of the board will now come to order. The special meeting, which was noticed, has been canceled. I'll start with attendance. Chairman Dion,
Here.
Skip Bryan, Mike Carroll,
Present.
John Cordisco,
Here.
Mark Dambley,
Here.
Tom Ellis, Rob Fox,
Here.
Kevin Johnson,
Here.
Ober Knodel,
Here.
Bill Leonard,
Here.
Debbie Mahler,
Here.
Dan Muroff,
Here.
Esteban Vera, all right, and Representative White.
Here.
Thank you. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon. Please note that the board met in executive session just prior to this meeting to discuss legal matters, and thank you all for joining us today. This year started off with new challenges, but we truly believe better days are ahead. Like most organizations, SEPTA has felt the impact of the Omicron wave, and I want to thank our dedicated workforce for their efforts during these unprecedented challenges. Throughout the COVID pandemic, SEPTA has been counted on to provide critical access to essential jobs and services. And on behalf of the board, I'd like to thank all of our employees, led by our GM, Leslie Richards, who are making sure our city and region continue to move forward. The work to ensure this authority will be able to support the recovery continues. We are making progress with hiring new employees, and our efforts to improve service and enhance safety and security are major priorities. Another factor is the continued and ongoing push for funding. We are having productive conversations with our partners in Harrisburg, and the federal bipartisan infrastructure law passed by Congress last fall provides increased investment to help address our most critical infrastructure and vehicle replacement needs. And beyond supporting SEPTA's mobility mission, safely linking our communities and connecting people to work, school, and essential services, these investments can also serve as a catalyst for new and transformative opportunities for disadvantaged, minority, and women-owned businesses. And that's why I'm thrilled to announce that SEPTA will be one of 5 inaugural signatories to an exciting new initiative that will strengthen the transportation industry's commitment to contracting with historically underutilized businesses, creating new pathways for businesses to grow and build their communities. Following the passage of Act 89, this board took an important step, led by Chairman Dion, by authorizing the application of DBE goals and procedures for all SEPTA procurements greater than $100,000, regardless of the funding source. That decision helped provide greater opportunities for small, minority, and women-owned businesses to participate in SEPTA's capital program. And I am pleased that SEPTA is leading on the national level with the Hub Initiative. And before we move on, I'd like to thank our friend and colleague, Skip Bryan, for his service to SEPTA. This is Skip's last meeting with the SEPTA board, and I know I speak for all of us in saying it's been an honor to work with you. Skip, you've been an important voice as we work through unprecedented challenges over the years. Thank you for all that you have done to help make sure we have a transportation system that works for everyone in our region. Yeah, if you'd like to say.
Yeah, just I think he's still working on a couple of things, and I don't know if it's community. Yeah, I talked to him.
want to thank everyone here. I mean, I've been on SEPTA off and on since 2001, so it's been a long ride. My goal, and I'll talk about it in a few seconds, a little background. Everybody thinks I'm from Chester County, don't you? I was born and raised in Philadelphia. PTC was my lifeline. As an only child with a single mother, whether I went to the Kent movie theater, the Philadelphia Library, the museums, the Phillies game at Cognac Stadium, rail system and bus system was where I went. It didn't matter what you did. You just had some place to go and you were able to use it. I moved out to Chester County when I had a job offer when I was at Villanova Law School, second year, and I knew nothing about it. I asked a guy when I saw the note on the bulletin board, how do you get to Downingtown? He said, you drive out Route 30, you can't miss it. It was my first time west of Villanova in my entire life. And I tell you that story because Philadelphia was the Golden Empire, and it still is. And there are people in Chester County that don't go there. You know why they can't go there? Because there's no way for them to get there by transit. Because the people in Coatesville, for the richest county in Pennsylvania, are poor. My wife spends her life helping them out. I spend my life helping them out. I went on this board 20 years ago and I asked for that Coatesville train station to be open. I've seen numerous groundbreakings. The last one with the governor, groundbreaking for the station at PennDOT, for the PennDOT area of the station. And you know what? That's happened over about 15 years, those groundbreakings. Now I'm leaving, and Marion Boscovitz, our chairman of the county commissioners, is coming over. She's a great lady. She'll be a great board member. She really and I share that goal. I'd like SEPTA to really take a long, hard look at Coatesville. We need the people in Coatesville because they don't have cars. After this last problem with the flood we had last year, Glenda was down there getting them food, getting them clothing, getting them furniture, and housing. But you know what you couldn't get them? You couldn't get them transportation because all their cars were flooded out, and the insurance companies didn't give enough money for 2001 Ford to be replaced. I'd like to see the kids from Coatesville go to Paoli, come down in downtown Philadelphia and see what the riches of this city are. And they can't get there. They're stuck in an area sometimes in Coatesville that isn't the best in the world. So as I leave after all these years, think about what I just said. It isn't for the richest people in Chester County. I was very lucky when I moved out there and ended up becoming somewhat successful. I don't need the train to get to Philadelphia, but the poor people in Coatesville do. I'd like this board to really take a long, hard look at that as I go, because I'm not going to finish with that until it's done. But I really like to say that in a very emotional and caring way. So thank you all for what you've done. Leslie, thank you. Thank Gino. What would I do without you sometimes? But most of all, Carol, one of my favorite ladies in the world. So I'll talk to Pat when I see him, but truthfully, we need help out there, and you're one of the few groups that can help us.
All right, thank you. Thank you,
And oh,
Skip.
by the way, P.S., he's not going anywhere, so I'll be in his ear on a continual basis.
He has me on speed dial.
All right, thank you, Skip. The first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the December 16th regular board meeting. These minutes have been circulated. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. And now we'll have our financial report. Mr. Burnfield.
Thank you, Commissioner Lawrence. Passenger revenue for the month of December was $1.7 million below budget. Transit ridership is approximately 52% of pre-COVID levels, and regional rail is 39% of pre-COVID levels. Operating expenses for the month were under budget by $1.6 million. With federal COVID relief funding continuing to provide operating assistance, SEPTA operates with an operating balanced budget for both the month and the first 6 months of the fiscal year. That concludes my financial report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Burnfield. I'll entertain the motion that the financial report be received and filed. Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the December financial report is received and filed. Please note that all written comments and voicemail messages that have been received will be included in the official board meeting transcript, which will then be posted to the SEPTA website. And there are no speakers wishing to address items on today's agenda. The next item on the agenda is the consent calendar, which consists of application for financial assistance with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation pursuant to sections 1507 and 1514 Asset Improvement Program of Title 74 of the Pennsylvania Consolidated Statutes. Supplemental reimbursement agreement between SEPTA and the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation relating to the reconstruction of the Coulter Street Bridge, which crosses over SEPTA's Chestnut Hill West Regional Line. Lease by SEPTA to the United States Postal Service of a portion of the Rydell Railroad Passenger Station located at 1470 Susquehanna Road in Abington Township, Montgomery County. Memorandum of Agreement by and between SEPTA and the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers. Authorization to award contracts for various procurements. Awards of contracts for sole source procurements and authorization to execute change orders. All the items on the consent calendar have been reviewed by the appropriate board committees in public session. I'll entertain a motion to adopt these resolutions. Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? Hearing no further question, I'll call the question. Are there any abstentions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The resolutions are adopted, and we will now have the report of our General Manager and Chief Executive Officer. Leslie.
Thank you, Vice Chair Lawrence. I'd like to start today with the acknowledgement of Holocaust Remembrance Day, which is occurring today, January 27th. On this annual day of remembrance, we honor and commemorate victims of the Holocaust and educate ourselves to prevent this type of atrocity from ever occurring again. I want to thank our Diversity, Equity, and Belonging Council for pulling together a publication that has links for employees and our customers to learn about the Holocaust. We reflect on those lost and carry on their goodness. On the business side of things, I'm very happy to share some positive news. And I truly feel, and you will hear it, that things seem to be heading in a good direction now in 2022. First, though, I do want to address some staffing and hiring topics. I want to recognize and thank so many of our workforce for their extra efforts during the Omicron surge. They covered shifts for those who were out sick and made sure we continued to operate our services. Omicron did have an impact on our service, and we are taking steps to address it every day. As we look forward and begin to rebalance our service to accommodate increased demand, we are working to fill more than 200 vacant positions, roles from driving buses to customer service. We've also been rethinking how we recruit, and for the first time ever, SEPTA is using paid advertising for recruitment for operators. I'm pleased to share that we're getting a lot of applicants. We've been able to restore the size of our training classes with the help of partners like the West Philadelphia Skills Initiative, and they focus on helping neighborhood residents find good paying jobs. I want to thank Chairman Dion for his support and Vice Chair Lawrence in announcing our Hub Initiative, our Equity and Infrastructure Project. Very proud that we are the first 5 movers to move that initiative forward. That initiative will show our commitment to increase the number, size, and scope of contracts going to certified small and minority-owned businesses in the infrastructure space. I'd like to report on an event we had with Congressperson Mary Gay Scanlon. Early this month, we hosted the U.S. Congresswoman, and she held a press conference at our Snyder Station on the Broad Street line to celebrate the passage of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. The passage of the federal bill means SEPTA will receive an additional $100 million in capital funding annually for the next 4 years. This increase in capital funding empowers SEPTA to make significant progress on over $4 billion worth of backlog in our maintenance and vehicle replacement needs. Representative Scanlon visited both Snyder Station and our Woodland shop, where the Route 15 PCC trolleys are currently undergoing restoration. The Congresswoman remarked how incredible it was to see the behind-the-scenes work that keeps our transit system running. On our safety and security plan, I'd like to provide an update. We've made significant progress on our safety and security 10-point plan. That progress focuses on enhancing the network of people who are looking out for our customers and fellow employees and giving them the tools to reach out quickly with our transit police. We are expanding our security guard concept to create a guide program where guards will serve as additional eyes and ears to our own transit police, moving between stations and riding trains on the Market Frankfurt and Broad Street line. We expect that the board will vote on this plan next month, and we could have the guards start as early as March 1st. SEPTA is increasing the number of social service specialists from 7 to more than 50 to help with the outreach to our vulnerable population. We're also equipping our social service specialists with police radios to enable direct communication with our transit police. By early next week, every one of the approximate 250 sub-elevated maintenance custodians will have a SEPTA cell phone to enable direct communication with the transit police dispatch. SEPTA is looking to expand our transit police department, and we've set a goal of adding 20 police hires to our summer class. We've deepened our partnership with Women Organized Against Rape to identify ways to ensure the safety of our riders through education and training. And we will continue to promote our Transit Watch app and other ways to report a crime or dangerous situation and educate the public on the various ways to call for help on our system. We're also using our YouTube channel to seek the public's help in identifying unknown suspects. I would like to take time right now to recognize some of our extremely valuable employees, and these are members of our transit police. Of course, the backbone of our entire SEPTA security is our own transit police, who bravely do their job every day, often putting their own lives on the line. I want to recognize 4 officers in particular today who did just that. On December 2nd, 2021, SEPTA transit police officers William Barch and Christopher Stokes were on detail, which meets each Market Frankfurt bus arriving at the 69th Street terminal. The officers heard gunfire in the surrounding area and responded to the scene. A suspect began shooting at the officers, who were ultimately able to arrest the man and recover his gun. That man was charged in the shooting of 2 people during the incident, 1 fatally. Thankfully, the officers were uninjured in the incident. I believe the officers are with us today if they want to come forward. Please, Officers Barch and Officers Stokes. Thank you for so much. Thank you so much for all that you do. We are so grateful you were uninjured as you did this life-saving work, and we truly appreciate it. And thanks for being here with us today. In a separate incident, on December 15th, SEPTA Transit Police Detectives Anthony Machete and Anthony Lederer were driving in the 3100 block of Kensington Avenue when they witnessed a fatal shooting. The detectives confronted the suspect, demanding that he surrender. Instead, the suspect began firing at the detectives. A gun battle ensued, and the suspect was wounded and apprehended. Fortunately, our officers were uninjured. And I believe these officers are with us as well today. Please come forward. Again, Officers Machete, or detectives, I'm sorry, Machete and Lederer. While neither of these incidents occurred on the SEPTA system, they highlight the partnership our officers have with the Philadelphia Police Department and the support that we provide to all the police jurisdictions in our service area. It's truly important that we highlight incidents like these and recognize our heroes. I'm very grateful to our SEPTA Transit Police. I know we all are, and thank you for allowing us to show our appreciation, and thanks for all you do. Next, I want to talk about Human Trafficking Month, which is January. January marks Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and SEPTA is proud to be one of the leading transportation agencies working to prevent this awful crime. Human trafficking affects every city, suburb, and rural area in the United States, as traffickers claim more than 25 million victims globally and generate billions annually. Every frontline SEPTA employee has been trained to recognize the characteristics of trafficking, and our transit police officers have received special training from the Villanova Law Institute to identify and investigate human trafficking and address commercial exploitation. Please do your part to recognize the red flags, such as someone looking fearful or traveling with minimal or inappropriate luggage or clothing. If you see something, please say something. And remember, our Transit Watch app is there, and our police officers are ready, and our teams are there to assist. And that concludes my report for this month. Thank you.
All right, thank you. If there are no further comments or questions, I'll entertain a motion that this meeting be adjourned.
Second.
It's been moved in second. The regular meeting of the board is adjourned. Thank you.